When I first came to Abaco, the Abaco district, she was the lady who came in to watch me teach. When she came to watch me teach, she had such inspiring words that left me feeling that, oh, this task that I have before me is actually very doable. She had great suggestions because education is her first love. She is a pastor's wife. Oh, thank you so very much. Can we go through the whole thing? No, Ms. Ed would say no. Very humble. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Mrs. Sandy Edwards to the podium. And please forgive us, we have a static microphone.
Now all I need from the students is this. Clap, clap, yeah. Okay, try it. Oh, let's go. Clap, clap. Yeah. One more time.
Clap, clap, yeah.
All right, very good. This morning, I am just here to encourage you, all of you, encourage the students to read, encourage the parents and the teachers to also read, teach kids how to read or find new ways to teach the kids how to read. And so your theme, it's rhyme time. You began with it, and a very, 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 very good job, boys and girls. Give them another hand. Okay? And so my presentation is all in this little pamphlet that you have. So you can take it home and go through it again. But the theme for the Ministry of Education is what? Rethink, reboot. Anybody help me? Rethink, retool, and reboot or rebuild. Okay? So what are we going to rethink? What are we going to retool? And how are we going to rebuild or reboot this education system, which the reading is so necessary? Now today, there are many ways that you can encourage your children to read. It's easier for kids to build reading skills when they enjoy reading. Let me see the hands of those who enjoy reading.
Me.
Any parents enjoy reading? Okay, we're going to talk about all of that. So here are some tips to encourage you to build your child's reading. Number one, you are to model reading. You are to set an example. If you want your child to love reading, if you want your child to read, then you're going to have to read at home, and then you're going to have to demonstrate reading to your children. And guess what? When they would come to school, then, they would read so much, Ms. Clark would say, okay, give the book a break. Okay? So, but I'm sure she wouldn't say that. She would encourage them to read and read, because that is how they would grow. Discuss what you would have read. Over breakfast, over dinner, before you go to bed, talk about that book you read. Talk about what you read in that book. Discuss it with your children and get their input. Okay? And then they would learn the same thing. Okay? And so now, sometimes we have a problem with a child. Oh, she's reading the same book over and over. But let them read the book over and over. Why? If they have a favorite book and they want to read that 100 times, let them read it 100 times.
Amen.
Why? Because it builds their speed and accuracy, because they are now familiar with it. And of course, with reading, you do not want to hear kids standing up and saying, once I caught a fish alive. Okay, because you wonder, what time are they going to finish? Okay, so the reason for reading that same book that the child loves over and over again is for them to build the speed and accuracy in reading. Okay, so now make reading real. Okay, what do I mean by that? Connect with what the child is reading to real life. For example, if you're reading a book about basketball, fathers probably tell his sons, well, you remember when we were throwing the ball in the hoop and I beat you with the three-pointer? So that is how you're going to make it real, connected to what you are doing. Okay, and then probably another book would be about what? What do you love? Kites. Okay, and then they can relate to kites, because on a windy day, I don't know, in my community, each child would go out and tie a string to a piece of paper and try to make it fly. Okay, so connected to real life situations, and by doing that, it's going to stick with your children. Okay? And of course, positive reinforcement. They need to know that you as parents care. They need to feel that teachers also care about their reading. Okay? And once they would have done that, then that would encourage them to read and develop love for reading within them. Now, spend time reading together. You don't have to stick by what I'm telling you. You know what would work for you. For some persons, at nighttime before they go to bed, you may find the time. But for some other family, the children may be too tired and you probably work long hours, so all you may want to do is sleep. So maybe in the morning during breakfast time, you may say, let me get this reading in. Or on a day when you just don't have much to do, you want to go to the park or something like that, make it about reading. They must have fun. Yes, I'm all for that because I love to have fun, laugh, and play. But we need to make sure that they develop that love for reading. And also, when you're spending time for reading now, remember the child may not read as fast as you are. So maybe it's good to let them turn the pages as you go so that you would be on the same page with them and they would understand what is happening. Now, this next one says keep books everywhere. In your home, where do you have books? Maybe in one room, isolated on the shelf. But no, you can put them anywhere. The bed head, in the kitchen, wherever in your house. Make sure that the kids can see a book, and they know that, okay, right now I feel like reading. Let me go and grab this book and read. Okay, and so would you. The next one is to read aloud to your children. And not only that, let them read aloud to you. And then you may have older siblings in the house. Let the older siblings read to them. So all of this we want to encourage for reading. And I'll tell you why at the end. Now, let's make reading fun. No child wants to feel like it's like a chore washing dishes. Raise your hand if you love washing dishes. Making up your bed in the morning, but we never have to ask you. Okay, sweeping the floor. Okay, then you can see from them they're really not into that. So we're not going to make reading a chore. We're going to make it fun and exciting, and we're going to develop new ways of presenting it to our children. If way A doesn't work, we're going to try another way, another strategy. Okay, so in order to transform, before I go to tips for making it fun, number one, set a routine, develop a routine, and kids can identify with routine because they would have that routine at school, and once you would have done it at your home, then they would be well aware of it. And make a special spot. Like I say, a special spot, you can have more than one places you can do it, okay, to develop this reading. Choose books that you enjoy reading. Ask someone special to read aloud to you. It can be your grandmother, your grandfather, a visiting aunt from the U.S. or from elsewhere, Nassau. You can ask one of them, okay, this is our moment at home where we're going to read. I want you to read this passage to my child. Whatever be creative. All right, so in order to transform the teaching and learning experience in education, we must find new strategies. Now, I want you to think outside the box. A minute ago, you would have heard the definition for literacy, okay? And that definition was read so beautifully by my namesake, Sandy, here. So, literacy is reading, writing, listening, okay? It's not just reading alone. You can listen, you can write about it, and of course, then you'll come to the last point which says learning. Okay, so think outside the box. You have magazines, recipes, podcasts, audiobooks. All are additional ways to enjoy reading without it feeling like you're washing dishes or you have to wash dishes, a chore. When students show interest in a book or subject, you can go on YouTube and download something about that book. Almost everything is on the World Wide Web. I don't know if you've experienced that. Almost everything is there. So you would go on YouTube, because kids love YouTube, believe it or not. Even if the younger ones just go for Cocomelon, or the older ones, or whatever they like to watch. So incorporating these things into your reading plan at home and even at school will indeed create that joy for reading, that love for reading within your children. I'm almost done. And so at birthday parties, this is another thing. Instead of a whole big box with just toys or picking this toy, find some fun books for different topics, bring it in the box and have them pick one out of the box. So these are just strategies that you can use to encourage your children to learn. That your children can also, I don't know if you have big trees in your yard like me, on a nice day when the wind is blowing, go under the tree with a blanket and then grab a book, carry the snacks. That would be fun. I love to do that. You know, grab some snacks and go under that tree with your blanket and read. Okay, and then this next one, Miss Clark, I'm going to ask you to help me with this. Invest in personalizing, it's in your phone, personalizing children's book that includes their name. Now today I brought a little book, I can call it, for each child with their names on it. One of them, two. One of them has nursery rhymes in it, and the other one has a fable or story in it. All of those that they will be getting has their names on them. Each individual name. Because that's important. If they feel ownership, they would love, and they may not even put that book down. So you can write their names on it if it didn't come with it. Or when you go back to the store, my two girls, I found their names on these storybook, nice storybooks, and I bought those books because it had their names on it. And they never put those books down. Breakfast table, they want the book. Even when they're going in the bathroom, they want the book because it has their names and they feel it's ownership. This book is mine. Okay, so all of your children will receive 2 of those today, and of course you will tell me about it, how they respond to it. Okay, so the next thing you're to do is to support opportunities for reading. When you would go to the food store, ask them to read. What does that label say? I cannot have too much sugar. So you let me know how much sugar contents in there. You know, just go and talk with them about it. If they don't know, you help them, and gradually they will get it. Okay. Cornflake boxes. When I taught primary school, I had all of those things in my classroom. All of the things at the grocery store. All of the labels posted everywhere. So in their off time, they would go to the library and they would pick up a cornflake box. So now they're going to come and tell me what it's all about. What is in this cornflake? You know, and tell me the ingredients and all of these different things. So that's another way you can do it. And then when they get their toys, help them. Yes, you may need to help them because they may not be exposed to some words. But let them go through the instructions on how to put it together. Okay? And then cooking recipes. If you have a daughter like mine who loves to eat, you know, she would eat everything you put in front of her. So I said, well, okay, then you go on the internet, find a recipe, and then, you know, tell me about it, and let's see if we can do it. Let's see if we have all the ingredients at home, or do we need to go to the store to get some other stuff. And she would do it. From she was in grade 2. You know, we were back and forth with this because she loved food, I'm telling you. Okay, so, and then rules for a new game. How many of you love to play games? Let me tell you what I do when I want to laugh and have fun at home. With my family, we play domino. So far, I'm winning. But every now and again, I allow my daughter to win. But my husband thinks he's the champ. Okay, so you know how that story goes, right? Okay, so rules for a new game. Have them tell you, okay, how is this? Get a new game. Don't get Monopoly what they're used to playing. Cards what they're used to playing. Get a new game. Find a new game that they may not have been exposed to, and let them explain to you how to play it. They give you the instructions for it. So that's just another way. Oprah Winfrey says, you read, they read, everybody reads. Okay? So in order for you to create a love for learning in your children, then you have to do it. You have to model it for them, demonstrate. And finally, then and only then we will realize our goals. Our comprehension skills will grow as your principal has stated her goals for this particular time. Their vocabulary would be expanded. They would not be saying the same words over and over. They may come home and say a word. You'll be like, oh, you learned that in school today? this is what we need to do. Knowledge of the world will increase, and our social and emotional development will be enhanced. Thank you so much for listening, and I do hope that I've shared something that's beneficial to you and your children.